What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a movie called The Pizzagate Massacre. Yeah, they made a movie about that. Check it out. So, the Pizzagate Massacre was actually originally titled Duncan after one of the main characters in the movie, a much more innocuous sounding name, of course, than the Pizzagate Massacre, which definitely pops. Based off the now debunked conspiracy theory where a pizza place was accused of harboring children who were to be put into slavery and other nasty things based on some emails that surfaced through Hillary Clinton and the internet being as crazy as it fucking is. They debunked it, but it didn't stop some guy from North Carolina driving all the way to DC and shooting up the place with a single bullet and then realizing the error of his ways and serving time. Yes, that Pizzagate. So yes, this movie has some politics to it. Definitely not going to be for those that don't want to hear anything, but it is an interesting story nonetheless. This is a very loosely based, story of that and what it's like essentially for somebody to fall victim to misinformation and things like that. How far does it really go? How far would a person go? And this is sort of lens into that world. This was a story that was written by John Valley and directed by him. He even stars in the film as Philip. He is an actor turned director. He'd actually done one other film before this, so this is his second feature that you can watch. And man, it was an interesting little indie film that he put together all by himself. Obviously, he had some help financially, but essentially, he put this thing all together and wanted to make a movie about it. This is, of course, a dark, satirical take, comedy style on that whole situation. It's very loosely based, and none of the stuff that happens in this movie really happened in that one. About an amateur journalist who meets up with a militiaman who basically go to uncover the conspiracy involving sex cults, a pizza place, and lizard people, because that was actually part of the conspiracy. We have Tynes So, who plays Duncan in the movie, the militiaman, and Alexandria Payne, who plays the journalist in this insane movie. Honestly, I think this movie was pretty well shot. I think it has some funny moments, but this isn't the sort of ha 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 laugh out loud all the time kind of movie. It's shot in a way that's actually kind of like those old pastiche style horror movies that you see that are kind of like taking the piss out of like So Bad It's Good films in a way, but the acting is a little bit stronger than that. I think it's just so over the top that it's hard to believe, but it also has sort of a balance between that sort of so hard to believe but also very serious nature, and this dichotomy is kind of working together in a very odd way that is interesting, and I actually found the movie to be quite entertaining. Watching all these things unfold, and there is some funny stuff in the movie, don't get me wrong. Really, where I think a lot of the movie's strengths are is not just in how well it's shot. The scoring is pretty decent. I thought that it fit this movie very well, but the performances by Alexandra and Tynes were very good. In fact, Tynes is really good at playing the militiaman and getting you into that mind space of this person who is somewhat of an idiot, but also kind of believable that they would go through this kind of thing, and the happenstance things that happen to this person, and how the world reacts to this, and how we perceive information. It's a whole tight-knit package full of a lot of stuff that's going on in the world today. And for that reason alone, I could see some people maybe just wanting to tune out of that kind of thing. So that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I really kind of enjoyed it, and it actually kind of reminds me of the stylings of Bobcat Goldthwait. He actually has directed a few films that are very dark and satirical and does a very good job of mixing them together. And this is kind of along those lines with maybe something like John Carpenter's They Live esque style, where it's kind of has a message, but it also isn't taking it far too seriously. If you've seen Bobcat Goldthwait's movie God Bless America, it is a dark, political, satirical comedy about a man going on a killing spree. And this is very much in line with that, very much in line with the same type of humor that you would find in those movies, which I just watched that movie. And I also love World's Greatest Dad because it is pretty unyielding in some of the darker areas of life and kind of pokes fun at it while also taking it seriously at the same time. This is an interesting movie. I think it definitely deserves some credit. It originally came out in the festivals in 2020 and it's technically now out in November this year. So it's taken some time to get some distribution, but now it's here and I think it's worth a watch. I would definitely say I would give this movie a 7.5. Now, it's not exactly horror, but it definitely is kind of within that vein of uncomfortableness and indie that I like, that I think is really doing something. And, you know, it could almost be an 8 out of 10. Some people may hate this movie. Some people may absolutely love this movie. I think what they did with this is fantastic. And I'll be definitely looking forward to seeing what John Valley has in the future. If you can do this on a low budget, then I'd love to see what he can do on a big one. But yeah, if you like conspiracy theories, this may poke fun at you. This may be poking the bear at people who fall for this kind of thing. And it also kind of points a finger at sort of the mainstream media that sort of is embracing this sort of conspiracy theory, misinformation to make money, which is a very real thing. And I think they addressed that long before it started getting way out of control. So take that for what you will. There are some characters in the movie that maybe mirror real life people that you will kind of make comparisons and parallels to, which I think is good to have in an independent film because you want it to be heady and you want it to be something that sticks with you. And some of the gritty, kind of gory nature of this movie will stick with you. This isn't going to be the feel-good movie of the summer or anything like that, but it definitely has some pretty cool, interesting stuff in it. And I think it's really well done for what they were trying to, put out there. Ultimately, this feels like a what could go wrong PSA if you keep telling people a bunch of lies and they think what they're doing is just. You can actually rent it right now. You can find it online at any of your digital outlets. I would check it out if you're interested in this kind of thing. If you are one of those people that are sensitive to political messaging in your movies, maybe this isn't for you, but I still think it's worth a watch, even though it's kind of a little on the nose when it comes to it. It also has some entertainment value to it to push past that. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's weird that they made a movie about Pizzagate conspiracy and turned it into some crazy thing? Or is this kind of like a nice peer into the world at a safe distance to really kind of help us understand what the fuck is actually going on out there? Or is it just some bullshit excuse to make a movie? I personally don't think so, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below and what you think. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like and subscribe button, as it goes a long way to help me out with the algorithms. And other than that, thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.